Hi folks, it's Sunday. Thought I'd do a quick video. Well, maybe not so quick. I'm going to start off with a mug of tea. Bet you're hoping I'm going to run out of bloody mugs pretty quick. Wait, look at that. When you get close to, I don't know how many skulls there is, I've never actually counted them. Anyway, we better put that down. What did I want to have a chat about today? Yeah, this is going to be one of my flipping, oh no, he's flipping chatting again videos. And it is, some things been coming to me since yesterday that I've been thinking about. And anyone can listen in on this, young ones, old ones, whatever. It's not to knock anybody. Older ones I'm going to talk to, hope that it helps out in some ways. Young ones I think might be an idea to listen to, because here's something, some information I'm going to give you for free. You're not always going to be a young one, you're not always going to be a young goth. One day you're going to be an old one. And there's going to come a time somewhere along there that you're going to hit something and you're going to stumble, or you're going to wonder, oh, what? Maybe it will help you to understand what you want to do when you hit that point. I'm not going to give a point, because there'll be loads of different points for different people. But predominantly it's talking to older ones, because when I've done videos in the past and talked about older goths, I get a lot of people that have sort of come across the video and listen to it and go, oh, I'm so flipping happy that you spoke about that. I'm so pleased that you spoke about that. That is me. This rings a bell there. This has answered something that was worrying them, or they didn't know what to do about. And it's not going to go into great depth or anything, but it might help some people. There's start with, we want to talk a bit about Goth, and I don't want to get into the old subjects of, oh, it's this, it's that, it's not the other, blah blah blah, and elitist and all that sort of thing. Nah, forget that. But I'm gonna talk a little bit about, let's start with this, a little bit about, as a goth, what can you do as a goth? Because it seems to me, when you look around, people are a bit stumped with that. They think, it seems like because you've took that name upon yourself, whenever you did it, whether you was born with it through parents, whether it come on as a child, a bit older or whatever, it came upon you. And now people are thinking, well, I've got that name's upon me. Now, whether you use that name or whether you just call yourself a darkly inclined person or what, to some extent, if you feel that you're in the subculture, you do ask that question. And it's mainly, in a sense, without actually asking the words, what can I do? Because you hear all this stuff about, oh, the 80s, do this to it. The modern, do this. But what can you do? Now, I'm not, whatever I come up with, it's not going to please everybody. It's not going to, it's going to be the same as some people think. It's not going to be the same as others think. It's definitely what I think. So you're going to get it. What can you do as a goth? So you've admitted to yourself that you're goth, you're darkly inclined, you're part of the subculture. What can I do? The answer, really, anything. Just about anything. It's not about, and we've talked about this before, but it's not about specific things. Yes, I agree with lots of people. If you're goth, put a little bit of time to one side to bloody at least learn about the roots of it. The modern day goth, at least. It's been around for bloody time immemorial, darkly inclined people. It's always had different names, but the modern reincarnation or rejuvenation of whatever is called goth. So what can you do? Am I confined in this bit here, in this bit there? No, you can do what you like. Learn what it's about. Here we go. Learn what the subculture's about. Yes, I think you need to know that. Look at the music. Look at what defines the modern day goth. In a sense, what makes us tick, what makes us stand out, all this sort of thing. You need to sort of know at least a little bit about that. Otherwise, you're going to be talking to people, and when they talk about things, you're going to be, oh, flipping heck, I know nothing. Not going to be able to join in or anything. So, yeah, do put a bit of history lesson in on that, okay? Apart from that, what can I do? Any bloody thing. Okay, if we look at a graph and we take the world's population or whatever, and this isn't a perfect graph, I'm just doing this for the sake of it. But if we logically look at it, the world's population, and in amongst that, that's the world population, in amongst that, where on the graph is goth, as we want to call goth? There's darkly inclined people, let's say 50%, maybe more. I don't know. There's a goth subculture, as we want to put it. It's very small in the scheme of things. 1% of the world? 2%? Are we kidding ourselves if we say 10%? 10% of the world population is a hell of a lot of bloody people. And if it is, I don't seem to bloody see them when I'm walking around. So it's a very little portion of the world. So think of it logically. If you want to be a goth and say all you can do as a goth is what's within what we might call the goth subcultures, we want it, the music, the dress, this, that and the other, we're going to be very confined. Do we want to throw that percentage of the world willy-nilly? Does anyone throw it willy-nilly away? Of course they bloody don't. You can come across goths that you think, bloody hell, is that all that ever goes through your bloody mind? The 80s, the clothes, this, does your mind not go any further than that? Of course it bloody does. They don't want to admit it. They won't admit it. Bloody, this is what you get with a tash. Won't admit it, but it bloody well does. You can't live daily without things that, excuse me, things that are not goth in your life. You just couldn't do it. And if you tried to do that, you'd end up flipping suicidal or something, or totally crawling the bloody wall, because you couldn't just do that the rest of your life. It's a big part of it, and it's what makes us who we are. But you can't be just that. And anyone that says, oh yes, I am just that, they're bloody having you on. Even though they don't know it, they might think that that's all they do, but they don't. Oh, just goth music. No, other music is of no consequence, just goth music. Well, I'm bloody sorry about that, but everywhere you go, other music is part of your life. You probably don't think about it, but you're walking through the shopping mall, music playing. Very unlikely you're going to get a goth track, maybe once in a pink moon or something. It's going to play. You go in a cafe, Starbucks or anywhere, music will be playing. You go to see a film and you could think of some of your most favourite films that you go in there and you're fired up, or you come out crying, or you think is cute or whatever. And what is, I'd say, one of the biggest things within a film that makes you feel anything within that film is the music. A love scene is not that bloody great without the music coming out the top of the bloody trees or something. Looking down at a little newborn baby, it's cute, but it's not as cute as music that accompanies it. Music accompanies everything, and you can bet your bloody bottom dollar that a bloody big portion of that is what you call classical music. So people that go, oh, classical music, can't bloody stand it, don't realise how much they bloody listen to. Star Wars, if it's ever put on as a big show, Star Wars music, it's sort of put under the genre of classical. It's a little bit like, trying to think of the words, there's opera, there's pop, and there's what you call crossover, which is a lot of singers do the crossover, which is they sing very good opera and they sing sort of pop and they cross it over. It's crossover. With classical, there's always been a crossover. So it's no good looking at the really old classical composers, Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, and saying, well, that's classical. No, it isn't. There's lots of modern classical composers, and the music's a little bit different to what Mozart and Beethoven and that did, but it comes under the same genre. And it's there in the films, it's there on your television, it's there in your adverts. You're driving along and it pops up in the car, it pops up in the mall and the coffee shops. But not to go on forever, it just shows your point that you live in the real world as well, and in this world you are going to have to live in amongst everything else. You're going to have to live amongst other fashions, other ways, other music, the way people act. That's what the world's about. And the goth subculture isn't a culture, it's not a civilization, it doesn't belong to a country, it's not a country, it's a subculture. And subcultures float around in amongst everything else. So my advice is, whatever you love, do it. Whatever you like, do it. Whatever you love listening to, do it. Do we confine ourselves to certain foods? No, we eat what the hell we like. Should we confine ourselves to certain music? No. We should know our music. We should like our music. But there's a bloody world full of music out there that can fill your life full of sadness, joy, expectations, whatever. There's a world of it out there. So when people say, okay, because I'm goth, what can I do? What is acceptable for me to do as goth? Anything. If something makes you happy, do it. You're still goth. You can still dress goth. You can still act goth. You could go in there smiling, be a smiley goth. Or you can go in there being a stereotype goth and go like, I love this, but I'm not going to show it. It's up to you. But bloody hell, folks, do what the hell you like. If excuse me, if the odd goth or something doesn't like it, then it's their problem. They obviously don't like doing that, but if you do, do it. I'm going to look at my life, and I don't care if people go, oh, you're not goth because of this, you're not goth because of that. I don't give a toss. I was a soldier. I was a soldier for a few years. Okay, does that make me not goth? Of course it's bloody well done. I couldn't go around looking like Eric Draven or somebody. Well, I could have done. Wouldn't have done me a lot of bloody good. I had to be what I was. But it didn't change what's in there. It was something you do. So I did that. I had a family. My family's grown up. I've got grandchildren. Some of the grandchildren have got children. Whether I had to be perfect goth or whether sometimes I had to be the parent for different reasons. Sometimes to bring your child up and to go to places and do things for your child, you have to adapt. You can't always just, yes, but I'm goth, so I'm going to bloody turn up goth, you're going to like it. No, you got your kids to think about. So it's you have to live within this world. Doesn't stop you being goth. I used to, in the 80s, me and some of our friends, my friends, in the 20s, late 20s, early 30s, whatever, we would dress the same, but we used to go to a club that wasn't goth, wasn't anything like this, very mainstream. In fact, if I told you, it was the club for Peterborough Football Club. It was called the Posh Club. That's the name of the club. Wasn't really posh. But yeah, people would go there in the suits and the dresses and all sorts, and we would go looking weird and wonderful. Did it make any difference? No, maybe some people looked and thought, what the hell? Other people took you for who you was. Hey, you're here this week. Hey, hey. And we had a bloody marvellous time. It was real fun. Didn't stop us being who we were, but it didn't stop us enjoying something else at the same time. And we really did. It was one of the highlights of the 80s for us, to be honest. What else did I do that I liked? Yeah, I went flipping ballroom dancing. And you got people there looking like ballroom dancers, and you got me. Did that make any difference? Did it hell? Used to say to me, you're bloody good. You should have these lessons and really take up dancing. Well, I learnt lots of ballroom dancing. I can waltz, I can quick step, I can foxtrot, I can rumba, I can samba, I can jive, I can cha-cha, all those. Does it stop me being goth? Does it help? Does it enrich my life? It bloody does, of course it does. Have I danced any of those for the last few years? No, not really. But in my life I have. If I wanted to, I would. When we used to go to the club, used to dance, do some of those. You know what's a good thing about that? You actually dance with somebody. You actually hold somebody, hold them tight, dance, dance in rhythm, dance together, think the steps to do. What do I do? If you're a man, you've got to lead. If you're a woman, you've got to follow, maybe call it lead, because at the end of the day, women always end up leading. Men think they bloody are, but women lead at the end of the day. It's not a bad thing, really. Anyway, did it make any difference? Of course it bloody didn't. Did to some people, maybe even that knew you, that suddenly looked, you were getting up there to have a cha-cha with somebody, and they're going, what the bloody hell? How come somebody that's all weird and bloody wonderful is doing that? How the hell's that happen? Because they don't expect it. But why should they expect it? Why should you do it? That's that bloody tea. We'll have a cup. A minute. Why shouldn't you do it? If you enjoy it, do it. If you're a goth, be a downhill bloody skier. Is it goth? If you're goth, go to the seaside, smile all bloody day, laugh your head off and do what the hell you want. Go on roller coasters, look like you're having fun. It doesn't bloody matter. There's no written rule book that says you must and you mustn't. Be goth, be true to what you are, but bloody hell, live in the world. Don't go and waste your life on not doing things that you love doing. If you love billiards, play bloody billiards. It don't matter if everybody else looks totally different to you. And somebody's going, should you be doing that? Just bloody do it. Whatever you want to do, do it. And that brings me on really to what I was talking about in the first place. There's the older generations, and we can talk about fairly old, we can talk about not so old that probably see themselves as old. But it's like we've often said, when you're a goth, you're going to be pulled in different directions in life. If you want a bloody good career, if you want to be a doctor, brain surgeon, chief of police, top chef, whatever, you have got to live that job as well. And you can't necessarily go in looking goth, top solicitor, whatever. You've got careers. Take that bloody career. Be goth, and even if for a while it's in here, then keep it in there. Once you walk out of that door, back into that door, you can be what the hell you like. But these things happen, and then people say, oh, bloody hell, this is what I am, this is what I was, it's all gone now. I watch the subculture around me, I watch it on TV, I watch it on YouTube, and I've got so much burning desire in here, but it's gone. what the hell can I do now? And what the hell you can do is you can come home. Nobody's stopping you coming home. And I know there's lots of you out there that's at that point where you're saying, what should I do? Can I do that? Am I too old to do that? Will I be accepted back if I do it? That's a pointless question. It's not up to anybody. If you want to go back to your roots, do it. There's nobody here that should be telling you that you shouldn't. So yeah, I don't have to tell you. You know what you should do. You know what you're feeling inside. You know for a long time you've been thinking to yourself, oh man, I really want to do this, but I'm bloody old now, or I'm ancient now, or I'm bloody past that now. Of course you're not. I mean, I do what the flipping hell I like. People like it or they don't like it. And luckily, everybody seems to like it. And I talk to people and people talk to me and we get on honky-dory. So don't be afraid that you think, oh, if I change to this, people's gonna suddenly, oh, bloody hell, what's this about? You might have one or two in your family or something that goes, what the hell are you doing? So I'm sort of doing what I want to do, like what the hell you're doing with what you want to do. It's the same thing, isn't it? So folks, if you've been in it, and for things in life that threw you somewhere else, you want to now come home. Me for one, I'll bloody welcome you open armed. Okay? So don't ever question that. Come home. You need it. Then there's the other, which I come across people that have, got to an older age, and in the 80s there were probably one thing, 90s there was something. They've lived their life, they've brought up families, blah 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 blah, and suddenly thinking, oh bloody hell, my life, I've had to do this, that and the other. I've always been darkly minded. I look at Goth now and I look at the things that they talk about and they do, and I look at YouTube and whatever, because all that wasn't there before. Don't forget, a lot of people didn't become Goth because it wasn't there in their life. Some people will say, oh, the 80s, fantastic, Goth everywhere. Others in the 80s will go, Goth, fantastic, where the bloody hell was it? I didn't see any. It wasn't every bloody where. Big cities, towns, whatever, but there's a load of bloody people out there, and people that were dark-minded and very, didn't realise they were Goth. Didn't realise because there was nothing to make them feel that way. They didn't see it. And now, so there's lots of older people that's going, you know, that's me, that's always been me. Okay, I've done other things. I've been mum, I've been dad, I've been this career, I've been doing that, I've had to do the other. But I look at it, that's me. When I was younger, that was me. Where the hell was it? It was me. And now they're saying, but now I'm of this age. Can I do that? Will I be accepted if I want to do that? Of course you bloody can. So to you I'd say, welcome in. Come in. That had this bloody feeling that I've never been Goth before, so I'm a pretend Goth or something. load of bollocks. Because you never had the opportunity, because it wasn't there around you to excite you and show you a different way that, hang on, this is, just because it wasn't there doesn't mean to say it was never you. You just had to do with what you had. If you like burgers and all that you ever see is bloody hot dogs, you'll eat hot dogs. Till somebody comes along and goes, hey, we've got burgers. And you go, shite, I wish I knew about that years ago, because that's my food. So, same thing. So, bloody hell, would you believe it? Tigging ice cream, bloody man. I give up. They always bloody turn up when you don't want them. Well, I would like them. But anyway, folks, you're the ones I'm talking to now, the ones that at long last have realised what you are, and you want part of it, to take it. Like I said earlier, don't sit on your ass, go on the internet, do whatever, talk to people, find out, learn a bit of a bit of the history of what Goth's about. Look at what sort of bands and what sort of music that crossed it over from punk and brought other genres in and everything. Have a look at all that, and the sort of bands that now you can go, hey, I can bloody listen to them. Some of them you probably bloody listened to then and still listen to and didn't realise what the hell you were listening to. So, yeah, end of the day, those are two groups I'm talking to. The ones that were Goth, life pulled them off, and the ones that never had the opportunity, but now because the internet and everything, they're seeing it and going, where the hell was this when I was younger? Well, because you're older, it doesn't make any difference. And if you want to dress Goth, dress Goth. If you older ones want to come back and carry on where you left off, do it. Don't sit at home and go, ooh, but I must wear this when I go out of that. No, if you want to be dressing Goth, dress as bloody outrageous as you want to. It's up to you. It's a personal thing to you. Doesn't matter what anybody else bloody says, whether they're anyone else or whether they're another Goth. You be what you feel. And if it's not quite ready for you just yet, then keep that darkness and everything, that side of you there, which is Goth, until the right time comes and you can do that transition. But welcome home, welcome in. And when you do it, be yourself. If you've done things in life that you love doing, continue doing them. If there's things that you want to do them. Love Goth music, love a bit of waltz, love a bit of classical, rap, like it if you want, but don't send it my way, will you? You know, do what the hell you like. Doesn't stop you being Goth, and this is what this has all been about. As a Goth, you can do what the hell you like. You can learn to fly. Well, you can do that, but take your long bloody time. Maybe try a glider or something. It's probably a better idea. Whatever it is, mountain climbing, doesn't matter. Dancing, ballroom, Zumba. I don't know, Zumba, is it Zumba, Zumba? Do what the hell you like. You've got a life to live and you've only got it once. So don't confine it to this little bit. This little bit's very important to you, but you've got to do all this sort of thing. It's what makes you grow. It's what makes you who you are. So folks, up to you. But younger ones, you better bloody listen, because at some point your life's going to change and you're going to be taken in directions, and you might be the ones sitting there going, I want to go back home, should I, shouldn't I? But just remember my words. Yes, come back home. Okay? Ah, bloody heck, lad. What's it all about? Down there, links to the S.O.P.H.I Foundation, the Goths for S.O.P.H.I calendar, which would be really nice to have for next year. You don't get calendars like that every day. So maybe have a look. Be part of your Goth existence. But whatever you do, folks, have fun. And do or don't do what I do. It's a bloody lovely day out there. Lovely day to have a chat, whether you liked it or not. I don't know. But whatever. If you did or didn't, go and have a cup of tea. Solves all the bloody problems. Especially when it's not cold. Have fun.